Hello, everyone. It's Mary Beth, and today I am so excited to show you components. So we've been working on this for quite a while now, and I think it's really ultimately just a big feature that has come from so many customer requests. We've designed Materio to be this system for resource planning and organization. This is really just the next level of that, right? We've listened to your feedback. We've looked at the use cases that you've had and the things you're trying to build out. And really, this is just the solution. So I'm super excited to show this to you. Components is going to let you build out really complex items where the backend pieces are all orderable and can be procured and tracked. And then the client facing, high level item is going to be filtered and kind of put together just for them. And so it's going to give you a lot of power to make this list of everything that you need to purchase and make sure that you have, ordered and tracked and expenses linked to and all of that. So I'm going to go over a few examples of what you can do with components, and then I think you can play around with it and let us know if you have any other ideas. As you know, we are open to feedback. That's how we operate here at Materio. So check this out. We're excited to see what you think. So let's dive in. So you'll notice in my scope of work over here, I have this one approved component item already. And at a glance, you can see that I can expand this item. Now, if you have used our cost parts in the past, if you've estimated things like labor or shipping as separate pieces, you might naturally see this arrow show up when components is put on your account, because it's going to break those apart and make those components. But the cool thing about the components feature is that you can also slot in products as an estimating placeholder, and that's going to make it super easy to really realistically build out that estimate using actual things in your library. So let's get into how you can actually build out a component item. So just like before, when you add an item, you would type it in. We can use this outlets as an example. Just like before, also, when you estimate, you can click the 0 right here in the scope of work. Now, the things that you'll notice are new are select a product, which is going to be pull in a product for estimating, or add multiple components. So I'm going to just first show you this new select a product feature. I can say select a product, and then I can pull in individual items here. So if I wanted to pull in just this duplex outlet, I could do that. It will tell me it's 20. Now in this case, I could skip the components altogether because my electrician is doing the back end work for this, and maybe I'm just outlining where these need to go. So again, I'm going to mark the plans. I'm going to go, we're going to do it here, here, here. And so this is just going to be a way for me to do like before. Okay, this is where I want all these outlets to go. Now, of course, this will go all over the house, but for this, we'll just stop there. So we've got 9 outlets that are needed. It's going to do that math for me. Now, you'll notice that on the scope side, you're not actually seeing a picture of this because it's not being presented as a formal option yet. We are strictly using this as an estimated placeholder. And so this is where you can pull in actual options. This doesn't have to be the original, estimating item that you put in. You could put in a previous sconce that you used, and then you could source 2 new ones. And that's most likely what you're going to be doing with that estimating tool. Talk about how you build out a multi-component. So we're going to add an item here. Let's just move, let's do floor tile. So we're going to add that in. Again, we go to estimate here and we select add multi-component. It's going to drop down a menu here. We're going to start to add all the actual components. So we're going to do the actual tile. We're going to do the grout. Oh, I misspelled that. So we're going to do grout. We're going to do the labor, and we're going to do maybe the spacers. Maybe we're going to do the trim. Whatever it is, you can spell it out right here. So you're just going to type, press enter, type, press enter. Now, for instance, I've made this labor here. So I do want to change this item type. We're going to go ahead and select labor here. And now you can see that is labor. And when you do a labor item, you also have this little unassigned labor, and you can always start to search your collaborators and put them in as the vendor. What we're going to do is we're going to slot in a product. Again, this is simply for estimating. So I'm going to pull in this. I forgot to do the thin set. Let's clear this product and do thin set. We're going to pull in the grout. We're going to pull in the spacers. And so again, this is kind of like a big checklist that's on the back end that your client is not going to have to see. So I'm going to pull this in, and you'll notice that one of the items I pulled in had shipping on it, this ceramic tile. So in my library, it had shipping as a cost part, and it just went ahead and pulled that in for me. So you can choose to delete that if you want, or you can keep it there. Now, when it comes to estimating, you can estimate each of these items independently with individual markups, taxes, and all of that. Now, when it comes to the labor, one of the cool things is that you could say, okay, for this, it's going to be a unit cost. Maybe it cost me $3 a square foot to get my tile guy to install this for me. And then I can come over and I can actually use the top level estimating tool here to mark out. Maybe we're doing the bathroom floor tile here. So we're just going to mark this out where this specific tile is going. And when we do that and we put our waste and we hit save, it's going to calculate that labor based on that unit cost. So that's pretty cool. Now it's actually going to be multiplying it by the quantity of the item. So that is there now. I know that it was a big request from everyone. Now, the other thing you can do is you can actually hit this little lock button, and that's going to actually change it so that you're not, it's not varying with the quantity. If you want us to do a lump sum, this is where you would hit this lock button and you would say, okay, just to lay the bathroom floor, my guy's going to charge me $1,000. So you would just type in 1,000 and leave it there. And actually in this case, we would just say units. Or you could do, per hour, etc. So you can change, like maybe you want to say, I think it's going to take my guy 3 hours to do this amount of square footage. So maybe he doesn't give you a square foot price. So all of that is there. You'll also notice that we've added in yard, we've added in rolls, gallons. So we've added in a lot of new units here, which is going to be really helpful for estimating purposes. One last thing is just when you're building out custom furniture or soft goods, you can always come in and add in these multiple components here. So I could do a custom pillow. Again, this is a selection. One thing I didn't mention, actually, I'm going to jump in and say is that it doesn't have to be a selection. The selection is just really helpful if there's any part of the item that has to be approved by your client, but you can do a combination of back-end pieces and front-facing pieces. Like this outlet here that I have presented, if we look at the two options, the client is just going to see the picture that I've set up here, but on the back end, I have my orderable parts. So just remember, selections can be really useful and kind of used in a way that they weren't used before. But of course, you can use component items to build out things like framing packages, foundations, whatever it might be. All right, we're going to look at the soft goods option here. Let's look at building out this custom pillow. So again, we're doing a multiple component item here. We're going to say fabric, trim, labor, shipping, insert, all of that. We're going to put that in here. And again, we're going to use our placeholder products to drop them in. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. Oh, we don't need labor there. We're going to just estimate that at $50 each. And then we're going to do $20 each. And then we're going to slot in a product for insert. So that I have this estimated, this is actually where you can go, okay, I want to actually present this as an option to my client. This is where you can customize the graphics. You can, upload a specific photo or rendering or drawing. You can keep certain images here. And then also you can now do an internal name and a client-facing name, as well as description and note. And this will be coming to the Clipper as well. Now, this is where you can see that the predetermined items are already here as your first choice, but you can always decide that you want to change those. I wanted to make it easy for you to take it from estimation to actual option. So let's just say this is the striped pillow, and maybe the internal name is the chimay stripe. And then what we can do is save this as our first option. We're going to add it to our library, so you can add multi-products to your library. And then I'm going to go to add another option. And it's going to populate with the previous, again, estimated items if you had those. And this is where I can slot in a different item. So maybe I want to change the fabric here, and I actually want to show these two options, or this one as the main fabric. So we might call this like the cream pillow for our client, but on the internal name, it's the Lucian texture. So this just gives you the ability to create these customized product options using their pricing, their vendor information, and do it here. And now we have two options. So again, just like selections works now, when this is approved, one of these is going to be the confirmed decision and is going to live at the top here, and it's going to cross out the original estimate with whatever you've got. So all of that is the same. Now on the selection side, when something is confirmed and it is a multi-product item, you're going to see the individual goods here so that you can track their status. That's because because they're all going to show up over here in the orders section. So all of these sub items or these component items, they are going to be here drafted into POs based on vendor, just like the items were before. So again, you have a huge orderable list of everything that needs to go into your project all right here without showing it to your client. So the last example I want to show you is a shower system. I know this is one that can get really hairy. Plumbing comes in a lot of different parts. And so this is just another example of how I've slotted in these items here. With this, I'll go over how to do the labor. So I've got one labor component in here as well. You can click on the quantity if you want to change the way that you're estimating this labor. If you want to do it, by the, let's see if we can scroll a little bit here. If you want to do it by the hour, the day, whatever it might be, or it may just be per unit. So for, per plumbing fixture, they're going to charge me $450 each, and maybe I don't have markup or tax on that. So I can customize that right here in the scope of work. And then if I were to have, let's say, 2 shower systems, I have one right here, and then I have another one over here in this bathroom. Let's just say, pretend they're the same, it's going to quantify that for me. So again, this is going to make all of these parts orderable and super easy. And then I'll create my new multi-product. I will select just the images that I want my client to be able to see. I will name this. And then I'm going to go ahead and just hit save. I'm going to add it to my library here. And I'm just going to show you what this looks like when it's approved. So all of this is approved. And then now if we go over to our orders tab, again, this is going to come through as an order based on vendor. All right, that is the new components feature. I'm sure there's some things I didn't cover you might have questions about. Be sure to reach out to us at hello@materio.co if you do have those questions, or if you have ideas about how you can use this, or specific questions around how you mark components or whatever it might be. We are here for it. All right, bye everyone.